Hey beloveds, I am back and I'm here with some new content. And yeah, it's been a while. I've missed you guys and I'm quite excited to share the new content that I have. So this video specifically is about healing from a breakup, or 5 simple steps that you can take in order to heal from a breakup. For those of you who are watching my YouTube channel for the first time, I'm Yvette, author, life coach, and wellness educator. I do a lot of things, but most of my passion is to just help or see people heal. English is just flying out. But let's get to it. 5 tips that will help you heal from a breakup. So I have another video before we move forward on my Instagram, which covers about 30 to 40 minutes long, but this is just a shorter version of that. So I think watch that one because there's also questions there, or you can just, watch the whole of this video and you'll still get the input on all of that, or just check out my podcast. I have a whole lot of other content there. And also remember to subscribe to this channel if you enjoyed this video. All right, the first step to healing from a breakup. 1 is feel your feelings. A lot of times when we're healing from a breakup, we don't even heal from it because we're being so hard on ourselves. We are angry at ourselves for maybe missing the person. We're angry at ourselves for feeling sad if it was like a toxic relationship. So the first step to healing is 1, just obviously acknowledging the emotions that come up and allowing yourself to feel them and understand where they're coming from. So when it comes to emotions, I have another video on how to process your emotions and a podcast as well, but really just understand where these feelings are coming from. If you miss them, it's because this person once meant something. It's not a betrayal to yourself to miss somebody that has been such a big part of your life, right? If you feel sad, that sadness is bringing your awareness to something, that this is hurtful, or that you're hurt. If you're angry, that anger is bringing something to your awareness. So just remember, to feel your feelings, and that's step number 1, instead of just being hard on yourself, because those emotions are there to serve a purpose. All right, the second step is forgive yourself. And I'm saying forgive yourself because a lot of times we think of what we need to forgive the other person for, but we don't look at what we need to forgive ourselves for. So we struggle to let go of relationships, not because we're struggling to forgive the other person, but because we haven't forgiven ourselves. Maybe you compromised yourself in this relationship. Maybe you sold yourself too short in this relationship. Maybe you didn't stand up for yourself. Maybe you didn't have boundaries. And you know what? Part of the lessons or the steps that I'm going to share with you involve dealing with that, because we're so hard on ourselves, and when you struggle to forgive yourself, you struggle to let go. But how you do it is that you project that as onto the other person. Say, this person was so hard, or this person was this. But sometimes you stop to look back and say, okay, what are the things that I need to forgive myself for that are keeping me from letting go of this relationship, right? Because if maybe you were even in the wrong, maybe you did something that may have made the other person decide they want to end the relationship. And this is whether this is a friendship or a romantic relationship or any kind of ship, really. You need to forgive yourself for whatever parts that you can take ownership for in all of that, because that's part of the releasing. And a lot of us, even in my sessions with my one-on-one clients, a lot of us really struggle to let go, not because we haven't forgiven the other person, but because we haven't forgiven ourselves. So that's quite an important step. What do you need to forgive yourself for? I'd encourage you to take notes and write down the things that you need to forgive yourself for, so that they can come to your awareness and you can release them. All right, the third step is that learn from the relationship. And this is what the link up between the last step that I just gave to you and this step. So learn from the relationship, meaning that you need to look back and say, what are some little lessons that you can take from this relationship? Meaning that if you did not set boundaries and there was a lot of conflict or a lot of disagreement, a lot of tension or self-blame or hatred as a result, right? Then the relationship was there to teach you, to set some boundaries. The relationship was there to teach you to honor yourself. The relationship was there to teach you not to compromise yourself. So when we learn from relationships, we can also let them go. So ask yourself, what do I need to learn from this relationship that will allow me to let it go? Because here's the thing, you've already gone through it, right? So you might as well learn through it, right? Because even though it might have been a really terrible relationship, there's some things that are learnings for you that will allow you to grow and develop within your journey, right? And this is for you as an individual, never mind like the new relationships. And sometimes you don't stop to take in those lessons. We jump into another relationship, but this is why a lot of people experience the same pattern in different relationships, because you haven't stopped and taken in the lessons. So really pause and ask yourself, what do I need to learn from this relationship? What's the pattern that I'm noticing also in my relationships that they're trying to teach me. For me, it was learning to set boundaries, to speak my voice, and to really just know that I'm enough. Know that I deserve love in a consistent way. Know that the things that I want more in a relationship. So ask yourself, what are some of the things that you've learned from the relationship? What is it that works for you? What do you know what does not work for you? What do you know that what do you want in your future relationships? What do you want for yourself? So there's so many lessons that might come up, but it's important that you stop and reflect on them before even moving forward. Otherwise you keep repeating the same pattern. And like I said, for me, it was boundaries. For me, it was speaking up. For me, it was communicating better and really putting effort into learning all of those things. For me, it was knowing what I want in a relationship and what I do not want. I knew that I wanted someone who was more compassionate, kind, patient. I also knew that I deserved those things and they're available to me. All right. So that was step number 3. Step number 4 is see the purpose. Like I said earlier on, every relationship serves a purpose, right? And when we are not taking ownership, that's one, we struggle to see the purpose. And yes, some relationships bring trauma to us. And I always say that, like, something that I say is that yes, the trauma, you've experienced the trauma. Maybe this person was abusive and so forth, and that's not your fault, so that's not what I mean by take ownership or anything of that, right? Sometimes people are really terrible people and they target people, or they're just really not kind people and they don't have good intentions. But I always say that sometimes there's things that come up, like maybe you ignored your intuition, or maybe, and these are things that I'm also taking from my journey, and things that I say, pay attention, because at least if you learn, you know what to look out for when it comes to red flags, so that's also part of the learnings that you can say, to say, okay, this is a red flag. Inconsistency is a red flag. When someone lies and changes their truth, that's a red flag. When somebody, there's so many things. Sometimes obviously we can't really tell everything, but take what you need to so that you can learn and then also understand the purpose of the relationship. So of course there's no purpose in, like, because I also don't like this term of saying that there's purpose in, like, abuse and suffering. There isn't. Sometimes people are just terrible people, but moving forward in our journeys, we need to learn how to protect ourselves and see those things. And once we allow ourselves to see those things, it's okay, I need to trust my gut. I need to know that I need to see these red flags. Maybe I need to do research on what red flags for relationships are. Maybe I need to look up on narcissism so that I can understand that, So really look into the things that this relationship has brought to your awareness. And some of those things may be positive things, some of these may be negative, but take them with you and use them to understand that, okay, this relationship came to teach you something, and even if it's not something that, if it's something that, you had not planned for, or something that was really traumatic for you, right? Take the lessons from it, right? The ones that can serve you and protect you moving forward, right? So that's what I want to say about that. The last tip that I have is that visualize a new life for yourself. Meaning that sometimes we struggle to move on because we have this picture with the same person and we haven't created a new picture for ourselves. So you're still dwelling on, I was planning to have kids with this person. I was planning to build a life with this person. I was planning on this person to be my bridesmaid. I was planning on this and that, right? So really learn and understand that once you've learned from the experience, you want to look at, okay, what's my new vision for myself, and sometimes that vision one involves just you, right? You don't need another person in this vision. It could be you traveling more, you doing more of the things that you love, you expressing yourself more, you just living a fun-filled life without the restrictions that relationship created. Or it could be with somebody else, so, or you could be both, it could be both of vision of yourself, being authentic to yourself, or a vision with somebody else, So that's really something that if you don't have a new picture, a new vision, and I encourage you to write down, what will life look like, when you're happy, when you've healed from this, and what are some of the activities that you want to fill up this. Sometimes when you've gone through a breakup, we just have this empty space and we don't fill it up with anything. So start filling up that space with, and this is something that's also in my book, start filling it up with things that you love, things that you enjoy, things that make you feel good. Start surrounding yourself with people that you love, people that make you feel good, and all of that, of course in a healthy and holistic way. But yes, those are the steps that I have to help you heal from a breakup, whether it's a friendship breakup or a romantic relationship. And really just understand that every relationship comes to teach us something about ourselves. And if you have a certain relationship pattern, there are lessons in that you need to take in. And also taking ownership over some of the things that have happened in the relationship, or some of the experiences that you've had in certain relationships allows you to say, okay, this is the part that I can control. I may have not been able to control the fact that this person had these bad intentions for me, that this person wasn't honest, but I can say, these are my boundaries. This is what I will tolerate. This is what I will not tolerate in any relationship. These are the red flags, and these are the learnings I'm taking forward with me. And really just focus on yourself. So final tip, as I said earlier on, right, bring the focus back to yourself. That time that you would have spent thinking about them and, all of that, bring that focus back to yourself. Look into some of the things that maybe triggers and traumas that surface through the relationship, and look into healing those things. Look into doing more research about learning more relationship tools if you need to learn to communicate better. But really spend the time thinking about yourself. What kind of future you want? Spend that time developing yourself. Spend that time working on yourself, and bring the focus back to yourself, right? It doesn't have to be deep personal development, but I'm saying like journal, or rather focus on yourself and say, okay, what can I learn from this? What did this relationship bring to my awareness about myself? And focus on those things, right? Because you cannot control the other person. They might not even feel, remorse if they did something to you, right? But you can control how you respond and, the things that you choose to focus on. When you focus on them, you're sending your energy all the way back to them. So bring the energy back to yourself and use this thing that has hurt you, to build and develop yourself so that you can still create the life that you want. You still deserve love and healthy relationships. You still deserve all of that. So you can only focus on yourself and create alignment within yourself by loving yourself better, by knowing that you are enough, right? And knowing that love is available to you, right? So whatever has surfaced through this relationship, also work on that. You might also learn a few things about yourself, like how you deal with rejection, why you go for people that reject you, why you have certain relationship patterns. So again, my final point is that bring the focus back to self, right? And especially at night when you'd be focusing on them, right? Just go and do some research, watch some relationship videos on YouTube, watch some good couples content that will really just show you what healthy relationships look like, and of course that doesn't mean those people are perfect. I'm just saying that bring the focus out of, this negative and unwanted state and into rather something that will benefit you in your growth, So put more effort into the things that make you feel good, things that will develop you, things that will grow you and shift your energy. And healing is a process. It's not going to happen over time. So give yourself time. So that's it from me, Yvette. Remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Share this video if you feel that it was helpful.